Hey everyone, if you want to make your own podcast but you don't know where to begin, Spotify for Podcasters makes it super easy. They've got everything in one place, it's totally free, and you can make money while doing it. Here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start doing it today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and pretty much everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also supported, and you can even conduct polls and Q&As. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, the platform is totally free. No catch, totally free. When I wanted to start my own podcast, I did not know where to begin, and I didn't think it was even possible. And Spotify for Podcasters made it happen. They made it easy, they made it quick, and I am doing something that I love. What more can I ask for? So if you're interested in starting your own show, you can do it, and I highly recommend you give this a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Everything Kratom, the podcast about anything and everything Kratom. Great to have you with us on this Tuesday morning, hoping all is well with you. It's a beautiful day out here today. And today I wanted to just briefly touch on something that I've been following, not like super closely, but something that I've been noticing in the news and like on the ground, talking to friends. So there is an Adderall shortage or amphetamine shortage or something like that, I think it's mainly Adderall that people keep talking about. There's an Adderall shortage out there. ADHD medication, if we want to be more general, I guess. So there's a real shortage of these medications, and people are like really actually not able to get them anymore. A lot of people are just going without them. A lot of people are trying to get them, but they're not able to pick them up on the day that they're, out of their current medication. I've heard some friends talking about how they requested a refill, on time and everything, or early, and then the pharmacy just didn't have anything and just was like, keep checking tomorrow, check the next day, check next day. They end up like not being able to get their whole prescription. Even when they come in 15 days later, they were able to get like it a third of the way filled, like partially filled. So it's a real problem for people who are reliant on that sort of thing day to day. And given that that's kind of the current situation we find ourselves in right now when it comes to these types of medications, I also find it, I don't want to say interesting, but I find this whole situation to be something that is intriguing to me from an outsider perspective. So I have no stake in the game here. But the reason why I find it a bit intriguing is because I think that I'd like to see what happens when it comes to people using Kratom in place of or in tandem with their current ADHD medications that they've been prescribed. And I'll stop right there and say I'm not advocating for that, and that's certainly not something anyone should do or think about doing. And Kratom is not a medicine or supplement, so I'm not even advocating for anyone to take Kratom. So with all that in mind, I think that I've seen like 20 posts over the past couple weeks of people talking about using Kratom in place of their ADHD medications, like specifically referencing the shortage. And that's the piece that I think I'm intrigued to follow, honestly. I do think intrigued is the right word, because, let's not get into sentence structure. But I do think it's the right word because what happens, I want to know what happens when all of a sudden, like the past couple years, it's been the past couple years a little bit building up for sure, or a lot building up, I should say. But like specifically this past year, I think this shortage has gotten really bad. And what happens when there's a really large, a really large population that uses a medication or a few types of medication, and the ingredients to that medication or the supply chain is not in place, whatever it is, those medications, like within a short time frame, like within a year or two, just fall off the shelves. Like they're just not there. they're not available. And Kratom is something that a lot of people do use in place of ADHD medications that I've seen online. People talk about that. And also people just use Kratom for things that I would typically associate with the sorts of things that ADHD medications are helping to address. So, and I certainly talk about some things that I use Kratom for that there's probably some overlap there in terms of like, if you were to look at an ADHD medications, instructions and fact booklet and whatever from the pharmacy, it would say it's used to treat this, 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 and this, and there'd probably be a little bit of overlap there. Again, just clarifying, no one can sue me. I'm not saying Kratom can address any of those things. But I bring up those words often when I'm talking about how I use Kratom. So I think that there's some overlap there in terms of what people are putting out there on the internet and what they think it can be used for, and how Kratom is used in place of that medication in a lot of people's lives. So now that there's this huge shortage of this medication, will Kratom pick up some of that slack? Now, it wouldn't be the official route, and I'm sure that there's going to be more of an official route that doctors and the medical profession and FDA come up with, or I would assume so, although it's been a while now, that people should take since the medications are so limited. And Kratom will not be one of those recommendations, I am sure. So it's more of like monitoring the internet, checking out Reddit, seeing people. And by the way, I've been looking at the Quitting Kratom Reddit subreddit page, and that's where I found a lot of these, because a lot of people are saying that their ADHD medication worked better than, or they didn't need Kratom anymore because they found out that they had ADHD, or they got the medication that kind of like filled the kind of thing that Kratom wasn't handling as well for them, and also Kratom was giving them a real hard time, or they were talking about their dependence or addiction to it. So a lot of that came from that subreddit that I've been seeing, and then a lot of it has come from the other side of the spectrum of Kratom posts, where you're on like the subreddit Kratom page, or Kratom with 2 M's, that subreddit page, and I see a lot of people saying that that they're having a tough time because their ADHD medication is gone, but that Kratom's the only thing that they found that can help pick up that slack, and like they're confident that they're going to do okay, or they're worried but it's kind of helping but not well enough. So I mean, it's all over the board in terms of what people are reporting, but I guess I know this is a rambling episode, but I'm not perfect, sorry. But all I want to say here, and then I'll sign off for today, is I think this is something that I want to watch for sure, because it seems like there's enough people engaged in this thought process online, even just from Reddit, let alone other forums, and there are other ones, that we might see a real change in the sorts of people using Kratom, and how much, how many people are using Kratom, and how much Kratom's being used, and I think the other thing, and this is interesting to me, not intriguing, this part is interesting to me, so now I'm making a distinction. The part that's interesting to me is that most users have been reporting, more along the lines of Kratom helping them when it comes to like in relationship to anything else, like another drug or another legal drug or whatever it is, using it, helping them get off of opiates, right? Or opioids, whatever. I'm not getting into all the complexities there. Anyway, downers, right? This is the other side. This is upper. Like, this is stimulating. So the stimulants, and it's the opposite end. So will we see kind of a change or a flip in the way that people self-report using Kratom to more of a, like, I use it for the stimulating properties, rather than people saying I use it for the more calming sedative properties? And I see a bit of that now, but I definitely see more of the latter than the stimulating one. So that one I think is interesting, and I definitely want to kind of pay attention to that. So anyway, this was a rambling episode. I'm sorry. It's a bit all over the place. My second child's going to be due in like 3 weeks, so my life's getting a bit crazy right now. So I'm trying to keep up with everything, but I still have thoughts about Kratom that I want to share with you. So there you have it. There's my best effort. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for sticking with me. We'll be back tomorrow. Take it easy. Talk to you then.